Okay, so today's lesson is designated for introducing the assignment that we're going to do. Okay, let's just take a look at what the three-way switch looks like. Three-way switch is basically, I'm just going to lower the light a little bit so it's not as bright. You can see better contrast. All right, so three-way switch. Here is an example of a single pole switch. It will be a single pole and technically single throw. Here's another idea of a switch. Yeah. Here or here, right? So this would be a single pole double throw. So here are the connections. Here are the terminals. Right? Here's the pole that can move one way or the other. So there's a single pole double throw, because you can throw it here to this terminal, or you can throw that pole into that terminal. Single pole double throw. Now, of course, if you had something like this here, and if those two are kind of synchronized, yeah, this would be a double pole double throw. Just like that. So here's the idea of naming the switches. I think my marker is getting a little bit too much. Maybe I shook it too much. All right, so the three-way switch is nothing else than a single pole double throw. Three-way switch. Why do we call it three-way? Because there are three ways of getting at it. So that three-way switch is going to have a common terminal and two other ones, and those are called travelers. Traveler terminal. Yeah, just like the traveler, if you want to travel, see other countries and do sightseeing, so that will be traveler. And here is the pole. Okay. Now you can throw it this way, or you can throw it that way. So it's a three-way switch. Three-way switch, which basically is a single pole double throw. Follow me so far? Good. Notice that I was waiting for the feedback. Common at the top and the other two terminals at the bottom. Somebody said that. Who said that? Jonathan. Yeah, you could do that. Here's what this contraption looks like. All right. Here's a toggle switch. It looks like just a regular switch when it's in the wall. Okay. And here we have three terminals. And one is kind of like a different color screw terminal. And the two, so you can just take a look at that quickly. You can tell that these are the travelers. And this is the common. Okay. In fact, this one actually does say common right here, and it also, because we're in Canada, we also have it in French. Let's take a look at that. If I can find it. Yeah, there we go. See, here's the screw terminal. If I can get it in focus. Here's the screw terminal, and it says common. That is in French. And right beside, don't worry, there's one in English as well. It just says common right here. That is close, right? And that's what the backstabbing connection looks like here. Right, that's the switch here. All right, so when we switch that switch, when we toggle the switch, the common is either going to be connected to one of the travelers, like that, and if we flip it, then we're going to flip the common and connect it to the other travelers. So basically, when we flip the switch here, just like that, when we toggle the switch, we're going to have the common connected to either one of the travelers, either this one or that one, or this one. Okay, good idea. All right. All right. Is there any benefit? Yes. Pretty good benefit. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Here's upstairs. Here's downstairs. Here is a switch on the wall. And here's another switch on the wall. And somewhere here in the ceiling is a light bulb. Oh, the backstabbing? Yeah, I'm gonna stop here for a sec here. Whoops, that's the wrong camera. There we go. The backstabbing it was sort of invented to so you could just strip a piece of wire, and instead of using the screw terminal, you can just shove it in there into that opening right here, and it's going to go one way and never going to come out. It's not the most favorite way of connecting or terminating a wire. You're going to hear time and time and again from all kinds of electricians that they don't like that because they do not see the connection. Screw terminal, you see the connection. If it's done wrong, you see it's wrong. You can fix it, and so on. Now, also, if you are doing the backstabbing connection, you don't know whether this thing was pulled in and pulled out, how many times, is this thing intact. It is approved by the, if the inspector is going to inspect your job on the job site, yes, they're going to approve when they see that. But my personal opinion is that, and many others, is using the screw terminals. Okay? Simply because you don't see that connection. You just don't know how good or how not good this termination is done, performed with the backstabbing. I would say, yeah, don't use that. Cool idea, but. All right, so here's a three-way switch idea. Let's say you are walking from downstairs upstairs, and here's the light in the basement, and when you go upstairs, somebody from your family is going to say, "Did you turn the light off? I'm paying the bills," right? And go, "Oh, darn." So you're going to have to walk downstairs and turn the light off. Oh, but for your convenience, there is a better way, all right? But wait, okay? So if you go upstairs here, you can use that switch to flip that light off. Or if you can flip it on, or you can turn it on here, turn it off here, turn it on here, turn it off here, any combination. As soon as you flip the switch, any time you flip any of the switch, you're going to change the condition of the light from on or to off, or from off to on. Pretty common scenario. Okay. And today we're going to analyze that, the working principle of this contraption. Yeah. My microphone's working? Yes, it is. All right, cool. So let's say we have a switch. I'm going to lower the light so you can see things drawn better. Okay, you can still see me. And you're going to see things better here. All right. Actually, this is better. I like it that way. Cool. So let's say we're going to have a three-way switch here, which is two travelers and a common. And just for the sake of this drawing, I'm going to flip it the other way. So I'm going to have two travelers here and a common here. So here's a traveler. Here's a traveler from one switch. Here's the traveler from the other travelers from the other switch, and here's the commons. Here are the commons. And just to make things neat, we're going to indicate that this is just one package here. All right. Can we see that? Yes. Okay. And somewhere at the end, I'm running out of room here, we are going to draw a symbol of a load as a light bulb. And of course, the light bulb will have terminals here. We are also going to have a power supplied. 1, 2, and the ground. Which one is hot? Which one is common? Well, or the neutral. Let's say this is a neutral, which would be white. This is the hot, which is the if this is just 14.2, for example, this would be just 2 wires. If it was 14.3, if it were 14.3, then we would have 2 hots. So this would be white. This would be black. If there was a third one, this would be red. But if there was a third one here, right? And this here would be either green or green with yellow stripe or bare copper. That's the ground or bond. Following me so far? Good. The code rule is any staircase greater than 4 steps requires a 3-way switch. Okay, I'm just showing you the working principle and the electrical, the circuitry that is involved. I'm not teaching you the code. Bug Mr. Hamilton about that, right? But good to know. Okay, yeah. So in order to make this thing work, if you're just doing one system like that, you can connect this whole thing without even having to draw a diagram. And I'll show you the way of how to do it. So you see if I can use different color or marker here. This one, yeah, this works. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to connect the travelers. Boom, boom. Travelers are connected. So first, connect the travelers. Travelers. Then we're going to grab the hot and we're going to connect that to the common. From the power supply. Right. Got it? Then we're going to connect the other hot or common to the other hot or to the load. Common to load. And we can do it this way. Right? And all we have to do right now is to have a return path, just so the current has some way of returning. So we're going to go right through the boxes, right, from one device box to another, and boom, connect that to the neutral. So 4. Load to neutral. The other side of the load. Now we have the whole thing done. Let's see what is going to happen. If we have the switch, because there's the pole here that we flip the switch this way or that way or this way or that way. So let's say we have this weight marker connected this way here. So this one is connected to that one, and this one is connected to that one. So basically just like the switch is flipped one way and switch is flipped the other way here. Let's analyze the current path. It goes from the hot, all right, continues, and it's here. There is there a connection through the switch? Yes, there is. All right, and keeps going. Whoop. There is no any other connection. So this circuit is open. The light bulb is off. There is no closed circuit. But look what happens if we flip only one of those. So let's say we flip this one, the switch. We change the condition of the switch. And we are going to connect that switch this way here. Let's analyze the current pathway. For this condition, the current goes from the hot. It goes here. Is there a connection? Yes, there is a connection. It goes this way here. Oh, is the connection continuing? Yes, it goes through that. It hits the load. The current is going to flow through the load, and it's going to return to the power supply connection to the neutral. Whoa, the circuit is complete. Light bulb is on. Yes. Must be 14.3. Yes. and I will show you why. Good thing. Now, if we flip this one the other way, yeah, then of course the circuit is going to be open because so the light bulb is off. So, but if we flip this one again to the previous position where it was, yeah, that way here, then we're going to have current pathway again. So get the idea, right? So what we did is we have connected travelers together, and it doesn't matter the polarity. You could crisscross them. It doesn't matter because they will never, ever, no matter how you're going to flip this switch, those travelers will never make contact with each other. So you can do it this way. If you do it, nothing is going to happen. I mean, nothing wrong is going to happen physically. The system is still going to work. So you just connect one traveler to the other traveler to the other traveler. So this would here be a conduit, all right? This would be here another conduit right here. This would be another conduit right here. Now, of course, this this bonding wire is going to have to be connected to the bonding terminal on in the device box right here. Now, if it's an EMT type of a raceway, then all you have to do is connect that bonding wire or grounding wire to the box, and the bonding or grounding will continue through the metal structure of the EMT or electrical metallic tubing. Then this switch itself is going to be bonded while its chassis, its assembly, which is also metal, is going to be mounted onto the device box. Then through that metallic structure, that chassis here is considered to be bonded in Canada. I've heard that in the States, in the United States, it doesn't matter if the raceway is EMT, electrical metallic tubing, you still have to run a separate bonding wire through the whole system. Now, if it's a PVC, which is plastic kind of a raceway, then of course you will have to run the bonding wire from one box to another, and just terminate that onto the bonding screw terminal for every device box. Right? The other thing also, I should have done it this way. Please do that this way. All right, we have jumped the connection. Right, so that indicates that there's no connection here. When sometimes in some schematics, depending on who's doing it, what standards do they have, if you have two wires going this way and they cross each other, just get rid of my mouse here, then in some cases it is considered that there's a connection here. In some cases they say, okay, no, you have to have a dot here, and that dot indicates that there's a connection. You know what? A lot of mistakes have happened that way, because sometimes people think this way, sometimes people think that way, and there's some confusion in standards. You can still see some of those. Most of the times the dot indicates a connection, and if there's no dot, there's no connection. However, in some older schematics, or some people still might just say, yeah, I consider it that way. Right? So if you're crossing two wires, just make a jump over. This way, there is no mistake on that. Right? Also, dots or not dots, the electrical drawings or the documentation, it's being tossed around the construction sites, and there is dirt there, there's dust, there's all kinds of things to kind of make something look like something that is not. But this way here, there's a less of a chance that that something is going to be mistakenly interpreted as to what it is not. Also, if you have any kind of schematics and connections, just for yourself, always verify the functionality of the circuit. Look if it makes sense. As an example, I will tell you, some years ago, I helped connecting a hot tub for one of my friends somewhere in GTA. And the schematic, the paperwork that was given by the manufacturer of that hot tub, or was it the circuit breaker or the whole system? Yeah, I think it came with a hot tub. It was wrong. If this was connected the way it was on that piece of paper, there was a bit of a mistake there. If somebody flipped the circuit breaker on the main circuit breaker, this whole thing would just blow up. at the electrical panel. Always verify connections. Okay. Now let's take a look a little bit of a different scenario here. So we had the switch 1, switch 2, and the light bulb, and the power is supplied from our left side here. All right, let's just leave the power supply here, and I'm going to, oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? We're going to switch around and do something else now. Because not always you're going to have the power supplied the way that you're just going to learn one way. But if you apply this schema, this scheme here, this order, you are going to be the dude or the dudette. You'll be the hero. So the pipes are rattling. The conduits that I was showing you. All right, so we have the switch 1, switch 2. Let's just, for the sake of exercising, have a switch here. Then we're going to have a light bulb. And then we're going to have a switch here. All right. Here, device box, device box. This one has terminals, okay? So here's the common, travelers. All right, let's see how we can connect this by using this order here. Well, let's move that traveler here. The common, sorry. Okay. Either way. All right, let's connect the travelers. All right, I'm just going to make an ugly drawing here. Travelers are connected. Don't do that, you just use straight lines, please, okay? Travelers are connected. Then we're going to get the hot to common. All right, hot to common. We're going to common, the other common, to the load. All right, so we're going to go maybe this way here.
Well, it'll just ruin it. It ruined the compressor because the fan is not exhausting any of the hot air that's inside. So it's not pumping the refrigerant through the cycle. It'll break the AC. That's how we used to do. We don't do it like that anymore.
You talking to me? There you go. All right. So we have connected the other common to this one side of the load, common to load, and the load to neutral. Well, maybe we can just jump over these two here. Go through the device box, and we're going to connect that back to the, so we just have used that order of things. Now let's see if we have a connection here. We're going to connect these two, for example, just randomly. Let's analyze the current. It goes here, travels through the switch, travels through that, it goes to the common, from common to load, through the load it comes back to neutral. The light bulb is on. Flip the switch this way here. Let's see, current tries to travel here, goes through that, and whoop, there's no connection here. But if we flip the other switch this way here, then we're going to have that light bulb again on here, here, through the load, and back to neutral. So travelers, connect the travelers, hot to common of the one of the switches, then from the other switch, common to load, and then the other side of the load to neutral. Any combination you can have. Now, the only one thing is that we are required to provide a neutral connection to every device box when we have a system like that. Three-way switch or four-way switch. We're going just to concentrate on the, and of course the bonding terminal. If it's EMT, it's going to have to terminate somewhere here, right? So, do we have a neutral white wire neutral connected passing through every box? So let's just analyze that. Here we have a neutral. It goes this first device box. It does. All right. Now we're continuing. This device box, yes, neutral goes there, but there's no direct neutral here. So we are going to just run that neutral here. Maybe make a pigtail, and one side is going to go to the load, and the other side is going to continue to the other box. And even if it's not used, it just has to be there. So you're just going to take a wire knot, blind it, and just have it being there, right? So we're required to do that. So the last thing that we're going to have to check is 5. I'm just going to make a different color. Check the neutral, and of course might as well or the grounding. If it's a PVC, if it's a if it's a EMT raceway, you just have to connect the bonding wire right to the first box. And if it continues to be a metallic tubing, then it's okay. Just now, if it's a PVC, then you still have to run another wire, right? So what do we have? How many wires do we have here? We just have 3 wires going there, white, and two hot ones. So it could be 14-3, right? Because of white, black, and red. Yeah. Plus neutral, plus the ground. All right. Over here, we are going to have another wire here connected, which will be the. So we're going to have a white, 1, 2, and 3. All right, conductors. So we're gonna have the extra conductor because of that neutral that has to be there. All right? If it's in this scenario here, you can rearrange those any way you want, and as soon as you're going, as long as you're going to provide this power from this side, but the power could be provided. So the possibilities are quite not endless, but there are many. So we're not going to. I just want you to get the idea. So that is going to be the assignment. All right. Assignment. We're going to have 3 scenarios. So let me just switch to the fourth wire here, because we're making sure that the neutral wire is provided to every single box. And when we did the logical connections to make this thing just work, we didn't need the neutral wire to go in there, but we are required to have it there. So that neutral wire from this device box, from the closest one, is just going to be pigtailed or piggybacked from there, and it's just going to be run into this device box, and it's just going to be not terminated, right? But never leave any wires unterminated. Always have to have them capped off some way. So the easiest way to cap it off is to use a moret or a wire nut or the twist-on connector, and just basically just put on that one wire and just twist it and leave it there. So that's the whole thing. So the assignment. Here's our assignment. Here is the first scenario that we just did. Black, white, and bonding wire. Right? Now, again, connect the travelers. Travelers are connected. Right? Then hot to common. Hot to common. then the common to the load from the other switch, common to the load, and close the circuit to the neutral. And then check for the neutral in every box. Yep, yep, and yep. In this case, that's that you're done. Plus, and then check for the grounding and bonding. So it is assumed that this is around here. Yeah. And I call this thing as figure 1. Let's keep going here. This is due Friday, November 15th. It's Monday, November 15th. All right, so there's a bit of a mistake here. But November 15th is the deadline for that. Yeah. And I'm going to read this. In this exercise here, the power is always to be supplied to the first device box on the left side of the page. In this example here, figure 1, it happens to be switch 1. All right, so we're just going to go back. When we're going to rearrange these devices to make 3 scenarios, always have the power supplied from here to this device box, because in the previous years I have seen people reversing some that, and then they will be applying the power to different sides, and it will have the same scenario here. It's just flipped around. So as far as the electrical connections would be, that's a no-no, okay? Because I want you to get the idea of connecting those. It's just a little practice here, right? Connecting the logic behind the closing the current pathway on the load. So always provide the power from here. We're going to rearrange this maybe with these two, right? So there's going to be switch 1, light bulb, and switch 2, which we just did. Or we're going to have a light bulb or load, switch 1 and switch 2. So that's going to be the third scenario. We're going to draw it like that. I want you to draw it by hand, using rulers and pencils or pens if you want. Do not give me a computer graphics. The reason for that is that I want you to, when you do this by hand, you're learning something. It's better for you to learn doing that way. Later on, when you're going to design different types of systems, yes, you're going to use AutoCAD, SolidWorks, or whatnot to design whatever. Yes, you're going to use the computer graphics. But for this learning experience, I want you to do this by hand. Doesn't mean that you can provide me with some scratch marks. If you provide me something that looks like an elementary school type of a project that has gone wrong and it was chewed up by a dog and spat out, yes, you're going to get marked accordingly. Make sure that you do it by hand, but as close as computer graphics as possible, if that makes sense, all right? So the switch will be activated to turn the light on. Yes. Is there a rubric? Yes. It's already there. We will go over that too. So next page here, we just did that, so that's out of the way. All right. Now you're going to be asked to present 3 scenarios. We have to replicate, withdraw. Yes, on paper, 1 page. It's got the example is on the last page. We're getting to it now. You are to present 3 scenarios. Light fixture at the end of the run, which is basically this figure right here. All right, that's the beginning of the run, that's the end of the run. So here's the light fixture at the end of the run. Light fixture in the middle of the run, it's going to be another scenario. So you're going to be flipping these two and make those connections, which we just did on this board here. And the third one, you're going to have the light fixture at the beginning of the run, and there are 2 switches there. And the power is always supplied from this side here. Okay. So that was the light fixture at the end of the run, light fixture in the middle of the run, and the light fixture at the start of the run. Okay. Now, figure 1 represents the first scenario, so you can just copy that, and that's fine. You're learning. All right. Use it. You can copy that and use it as your own. as the first of the 3 drawings. So it's almost like a freebie, but not, because you see you're doing this thing by hand, so it gets into your head. You're retaining the information. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so the other 2 scenarios must be presented in the same way with the components rearranged accordingly. Each scenario must include a label, see figure 1, top left corner, all figure 1. Okay, so all 3 components, switch 1, switch 2, and LED fixture clearly drawn, and all components must be labeled, see figure 1. All right, let's go back to that figure 1 here. So here is the top of the A4 page, or the letters, just a regular page, 8 by 10. So here's the label. Okay, make it nice and neat. Do not make any scratch marks. If you do some sort of like a awful thing that I have to decipher, and some smidges and stuff, trust me, I'm going to nail you for that. I'm going to be mean. All right, so 3-way switch system, light fixture at the end of the run. Okay, so here is the scenario. Right, the next one, you're just going to copy the whole system. You're going to have 3-way switch system, light fixture in the middle of the run. You're just going to change that. It's going to be the one on the bottom, and you're going to rearrange those things. Okay. All right. Oops. Come on. Label okay, so label on the top left corner. All 3 components, switch 1, switch 2, and LED fixture clearly drawn, and label all components on the label. All work must be done by hand, using rulers and pencils, of course, yeah, and as neat, as clear as the example. So you're going to try to replicate what is on that screen on the handout, but you're going to do it by hand. Right? Next page. Switches terminals must be labeled. Everything is spelled out for you, all right? And that's also included in the rubric. Switches terminals must be, switches apostrophe here, so that's plural. So all switches terminals must be labeled. Common and travelers terminals, that applies to that. Okay, so all 3 device boxes must be indicated with the dotted line, just like we did there. Runs between the boxes must be embraced with the conduit markers. See the elliptical shapes, figure 1. Again, let's go to figure 1 here. Come on. This thing is too slow. Here's a conduit marker here, and there's just a little indicator, and it's just enough to write something here, a 1/2 inch EMT. All right, so that means these 2 wires are going through that one conduit. These 3 wires are going through that one conduit. Just get used to doing that, and later on, depending on who you work for, you might have to read some additional information, or you might have to be asked to be providing some additional information. We're just practicing doing we're just getting into some good habits here. All right. Switches terminals must be labeled. Okay, No, not necessarily in color. No. As long as it's neat, because the documentation most of the time that you're going to be presented, yes, label just label this thing as shown on the figure 1. It's just an example there, right? The ground wire must be presented just like in figure 1, all right? All conductors must be identified as in figure 1. So I just didn't use the colors there. I just used things like neutral or white, hot, and hot. So the hot could be black, could be red, could be other color. Top of the first page, well, it's going to be only one page. Place the following: safety 10, 15, and 21 assignment, 3-way switch. So that's going to be the top of the page. All right. Now I'm going to ask you to scan or photograph with your cell phone your final work on one page, and try to make sure that you don't see some sort of like a bedspread or some sort of a blanket with some sort of pattern in the background, or maybe a sandwich or something like that. No, just make sure that it just looks like one nice page. Scanning is the best, but if you just use a cell phone and make it nice, that's fine. And convert that into a PDF. I want this thing in PDF form. The reason why I need that in PDF format is that FOL server, sometimes when I'm trying to view that, it doesn't display that, it doesn't display the work properly, and PDF is displaying nice, and there are no problems with that. All right. Will there requirements before the assignment posted on the FOL? Yes. This here, you have it already, okay? And the last page is going to be an example. Okay, upload the PDF file to now. All boxes must contain the neutral continuous connection, white wire, even if the neutral is not connected to the device in the box, which we just explained that using this example here. It just must be there. Next class starts in 5 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm just going to continue that. If you need to go. I thought this was your last class, and I'm just going to continue this, and you can catch the rest of it when I post it on YouTube, which is going to be a few minutes after this class is done. All right. All right. Now here is the example of this. That's what it's going to look like. I blurred it out. This is from last year. So this is fine, nice and clear. Here's the label on the top. Here is your name. Don't write your name, just write your name. Right? Got it. All right. Now here is the first scenario, light fixture at the end of the run. Then I blurred it out here, but it's going to be the same thing, but the light fixture is going to be in the middle of the run. And over here, the third example here, I blurred it out, so you don't copy that. You have to learn. And it's going to be in the beginning of the run. So that's the last page. Can I zoom that in? Yes. All right. So here is, yeah. So here is the example of that. All right. I blurred this out on purpose so you don't copy the connections. You have to come up with the connections, but you're going to do it exactly as it is here. You're just going to rearrange the devices and always provide the power from the left. Okay. This is just an example. Yeah, that's why I couldn't see it. Yeah, it is blurred out. All right. All right. Now the rubric. Let's see where the rubric is quickly. Okay. Here is our class portal. All right. Let me just make myself smaller here. And I'm going to make myself look like a student. So the rubric, verify your work with the rubric, evaluations and submissions. Okay. And here is the assignment right there. It's already active. Assignment three-way switch. If you click on that, the rubric is going to pop right there. Here's the rubric. All the evaluation rubric, and it's out of 100. Look at this, the last here, you get 45 points just for the functionality. All right. The last one here, everything else here is being marked, and then on top of that, it has to work. So you got all three scenarios out of 3 working. It's going to work, not necessarily be up to code, but it will work. Everything else is marked over there. So I'm not going to double whammy you on this. All right. So 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3. So this is worth a lot of the marks. Right. The whole assignment is worth 10% of this course. Okay. And that's pretty much this lesson for today. Right. So take the time tomorrow for doing that. And I'm going to work on the quiz. And I'm going to release that quiz this closest Friday. So it's going to be in a couple days, right? So the quiz is going to be released, and then right after the quiz, we're going to have the test, and we're just going to continue. We just really don't have many topics to cover. We have to cover the arc flash, and we have to cover the confined space. That's pretty much it as far as I remember. Okay, so this is it for today. Have a good rest of the day, and have fun with your next class. And I'll see you when I see you. Thank you.